Okay, so now that you've gotten to this point, we want to graph the data. Now, we can graph whatever data you want to graph. There's lots and lots of ways of doing that. But I think the easiest way of doing this right now is to actually create a separate graph, one for aerobic respiration, one for anaerobic respiration, and then we're going to embed that in our lab report. All right, so let's get working on that. All right, so the first thing we do is we need to create two separate spreadsheets. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go add a spreadsheet, and I'm going to click on this one, and where it says sheet 4, it should say sheet 2 for you guys. I'm going to change the name to aerobic, aerobic respiration. Okay, and then I'm going to click again, create another sheet. I'm going to call it an aerobic respiration. Okay, cool. So we got those different things. Now, the other thing I want to do is I said, okay, well, I also want to create a list of headings. So I actually am going to have to do something here, and this is not good, but it kind of works. Okay, so the math here is going to kind of work. What I'm going to do is, okay, the first row is time. Now, if we did it correctly, the way it should have worked, because it took us so long to get through the blood pressures, time when you first had your blood pressure taken was going to be called time 0. Unfortunately, I have to estimate, and I'm going to say it took about 10 minutes. You exercised for about 10 minutes. So that seems to work out. 4 sets, 2 resets in between. That was about 8 minutes. All right. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to say tab over. And then after that, we waited 5 minutes. So our total times is we had time 0, time 10, and time 15. This is not perfect. If you were in an actual lab situation, you would have had to do a much better job of coordinating your time. All right. But we're also going to say, okay, what happened to the systolic pressure? All right. Oops, and I did that wrong because the first thing I want to track is the heart rate. Then we're going to track the systolic pressure. And then diastolic, D-I-A-S-T-O-L-I-C. And I hope I'm spelling that right. Pressure. D-I-A-S-T. All right. And I keep on meaning to put in pressure. Cool. Now, we can copy all the stuff that we've already done. What we want to do is we want to make a nice compact chart. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on this column A, and I'm going to make everything here bold. What that tells the spreadsheet, the fact that it's bold, says these are going to be labels. They're not data, they're labels. Okay, so let's go back to the form. Now this is the part that's tricky. Remember, we did the averages, and these are the 3 heart rates. Heart rate before, heart rate immediately after. We're estimating we ran for about 10 minutes, and heart rate 5 minutes after. So I'm going to just right click. So this is the average for the group, right? I'm going to go aerobic respiration, and I'm just going to click heart rate. But there's a trick here. You can't just go paste. You hear that? Those of you who are only barely listening, you can't just go paste. You have to go right click, paste special, and paste values only. You'll get numbers. If you just instead go paste, you're going to get this, because what it did, it pasted over the formula, and when you do an average, you divide, what's going to wind up happening, you're dividing by 0. So again, instead of the error, what you want to do is you want to go paste, and you're going to paste the numbers that we copied, not the formula. All right. Now, if you go back, remember we dragged that formula all the way across. We got the same thing. This is the initial systolic pressure. This was after we went running, and this last one is 10 minutes, 5 minutes after we finish running. So let's go highlight all of those. Right click, copy, or you can go Control C on the keyboard. Go back here, right click, paste special, values only. And those are big ugly numbers. We're going to want to kind of round them off. And then we're going to back the last one, the diastolic pressure. I'm going to go resting diastolic pressure, shift, shift, shift. You notice this diastolic pressure is always the lowest number. Going to go copy. Boom. Paste special. Values only. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take the entire spreadsheet. We're going to take the data. We're going to format the numbers so that there's only 2 zeros. All right. And I have to go back here, time. I want to just go back this and go, actually undo. I didn't want to do that. I want to leave it 10, 0, and 15. I'm just going to highlight the guys that I want. I'm going to go format. We're going to format those guys as numbers. The other thing is the time. We want to keep that. All right. So this is not perfect, but that it does kind of cover what we want to do. So now what I want to do is now I want to insert. And one of the things you should notice here, you notice the heart rate starts off at 84 beats a minute, which is about what you would expect. That's kind of normal heart rate. It goes up. We're not really working out super hard, so we're up to 112, which is about 20 beats faster a minute. Okay, that's about right. And then after 5 minutes, it had only gone back down, say about 13 points. All right, so it hadn't completely returned to normal at that point. Systolic pressure, 129, 128, 119, pretty much no change at all. Diastolic pressure, 88, 81, 81, pretty much no change at all. So for our group, it appears that running affects your heart rate a little bit, or actually quite a bit. Doesn't have much of an impact on your blood pressure at all. So what are we going to do? Well, now I'm going to highlight this because this is always better to put in a chart. We're going to go insert a chart. And I don't want to go with bar graphs. I want to go with a line chart. Now, I have done something which is kind of important. I'm going to take this off, and you'll notice that these things don't make a lot of sense right now. All right, so what I want to do is, I believe it's going to start off with you, and it's going to look like this, which is not helpful. What we want to do is we want to actually switch rows and columns. All right, so now you notice we have time, heart rate, and we actually want to use row 1 as labels. There we go. So if we do this, this is what we have. We want to switch rows and columns, use column A as the headers. So now the header is blue is heart rate, red is systolic pressure, yellow is diastolic pressure, and use row 1 as labels. All right, so that kind of works. All right, so that's good. All right, so let's go and customize. We want to do anything else? And we can play around with the colors and stuff like that if you want. Smooth, I guess we could put in if we wanted. I think I actually just like the actual data and just go insert. So what does this tell us? Well, if you take a look at the red line, you notice if anything, systolic pressure kind of steadily decreases. All right? Diastolic pressure steadily decreases. And the only thing that has a jump when you're running is your heart rate. Okay? That kind of goes with what we know. Why would blood pressure not increase? Well, maybe though when your heart's beating faster, your blood vessels expand, so that means you don't get the same effect. All right, so now what you guys are going to do here is you guys are going to click on anaerobic respiration, and you're going to do the exact same thing for anaerobic respiration, except now you're going to use the averages down here. This is the average for heart rate immediately. This is the average for heart rate, the systolic pressure, and this is the average rate for the diastolic pressure. Remember, the times we're going to choose are going to be 0, 10 minutes, and 15 minutes. Okay, that's what we're going to choose for time. All right, so that's it for now. So what I'd like you guys to do is I would like you to repeat this. You're going to wind up with 2 charts when you're done. I want you to apply the same lessons you learned on this one to creating a chart for anaerobic respiration. All right.